All right. So we're going to look at, I'm going to go through each of these individually, and then I'm going to sketch it and see what the big picture is. So for the first one, we need to do the same thing we were doing before. All we're doing is replacing x with the value on the top. So instead of writing x here, I would replace that with 2. So 2 squared is 4. You need to better that in your head. If you can't do that in your head, you need to start asking yourself, how are my times tables going? 2 times 2 is 4. And then we get that final answer and multiply it by 2. 4 times 2, 8. The last one, 3 squared is times 2, 18. Please be aware, for those of us, and this is why we need to be able to do this in our head, if you put in your calculator negative 2 squared, it comes up with negative 4. Why does it do that? Your calculator is a bomb-dash truther. Loves bomb-dash. Hates conventions, loves bomb-dash. So if you put negative 2 squared, what is it going to do first? What operation? The negative 1 times or the squared first? So it squares 2 and then multiplies that answer by negative 1. So if you want to fix that up, you put brackets around your negative 2 and then you put that in your calculator and you get the answer 4. Does that make sense? So be very careful when you're squaring negative numbers and use a bit of common sense. So negative 2 squared is times 2. Negative 3 squared is times 2. So when we graph that, we get something that looks like this. What's happened, if I want to do this, I'll do it in a black dash. You're right, Mikey? Has my origin changed? Is my function turning at a different spot? Yes. Or is it turning at the same spot? Where does my red function turn? 0, 0. Where's my y function turn? My black function there turn? 0, 0. So has the point where it turns changed? What has changed? Because my red function was my original function. I've added a 2, which is my a value. I've added that. What has changed in my function here? Jake, what do you reckon? What have I done? Baxter? What have I done to my function? What impact does that a value have?
It makes it steeper.
Steeper. So I'm just going to say it stretches my function. Are we happy with that? Now because it was 2, I stretched it. What do you think would happen if it was like 4? How would that stretch? More that way or less that way? More. What if it was say 0.5? Would it be above my red line or below? Below. What about a negative value? Negative, so that was negative 5.
Below the line.
Go below the line. Very good. So the a value stretches my function. It's called a dilation. For those of us who are aware. Cool with that? I'm now going to move to my next function here. Now I have to follow bomb-dash next, so what should I do first? The squared or the plus 3? What we're doing here, if we look at this graph, how is this different to the last graph? How is this different? So if you looked at the last graph, the distance between my lines was changing, correct? If you've drawn your graph correctly, the distance between this line and this line should not change the whole way through. So in the last one it was getting bigger, whereas in this instance it should stay the same. Why has mine not stayed the same? It's pretty close, but why has it not stayed the same? Because I didn't use a ruler and do my graph correctly. Sweet. What have I done to my function? Does it look similar?
Yeah.
Similar shape? Similar steepness? So what have I changed? The origin. What have I done to the origin? I've moved it up, correct? So which value is that, K or H?
Where's K and H?
Who thinks it's my K value? Who thinks it's my h value? Why is it my k, not my h, Nick?
Because
You're right.
I just know.
How do you just know?
I just
You-
guys, you know how it says 0 there?
Yep.
Because you have to pass on it, so that's how I knew.
You're close. What's the difference between, maybe look at 3 and 2. What's the difference between them?
I know.
So because in the Greek, x into a squared here, whereas x is just squared.
Yeah, so in this one, because there's no brackets, that's my k value. If there's brackets that apply, then it's my h value. So the k value, I want you to write down what you think the k value does. It moves my function up or down. I would also accept vertically.